being part of the junior class that just recently got to the floor, I think I could speak for a lot of people where I myself would feel very timid saying, talking about someone's retirement or, and it's all a matter, like you said, putting into motion and getting to the desk and practicing it. By any chance, would we be able to maybe get some examples or bits of phone calls where we could hear somebody putting in practice? That way we can duplicate it, because as easy as it sounds to go on the phone, and what happens if they hit me with one of those rebuttals that I'm not prepared to, so I'd feel more comfortable if, would that be a possibility?
Yeah, absolutely. So just to answer your question though, so anytime you're ever hit with a question that you're not comfortable with, then you have what's called kind of a scapegoat response. What I call is a default response. Like, great question, let me write that down, right? So how I'd respond to a question that has to do with retirement is saying, you know what, great question. I actually got a meeting with our underwriting department, right? Back that up. Let's say it's at the very beginning. And say, you know what, great question. Let me take a couple notes. When I prepare the information for you, I'll get the details for you on that. Make sense? So you're answering it, but you're not. And then what happens is when you get off the phone, then you meet with someone who's a little bit more experienced, because then you get to learn from the experience, right? The worst thing that you could do is probably freestyle and say, oh yeah, we could blah, 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 do this and that, and you're just spitting numbers out of your ass, right? That's probably the last thing you want to do. But understand that number one is that these people don't understand what you don't know, and they don't know how inexperienced you are. But I do know you're good at math, right? So one thing is for sure is that you can do quick basic math and say, anything that has to do with retirement, even though you may not have a retirement built up or retirement's far from your imagination, the whole idea is understanding that you're in retirement, your income changes, it shifts. So it goes from hourly wage to fixed income, right? Our generation probably won't have that privilege. We won't have that pension, we won't have that Social Security. That thing probably be long gone. There'll probably be something in place of, but it's something that we don't necessarily understand because that's not our language. But when it comes up to retirement, all you have to be concerned about is just understanding what they want. And so, hey, D, I want to retire in 12 years. Got it. How many years do you have left on your mortgage? I think 28. Let me see how I can help you align that with the time that you retired. I'm not telling him to say, okay, well, in your 401k plan, what's your contribution? What's your quarterly return last year on your 401k? Do you have 403b? I don't, right? It has nothing to do with me, right? All I'm trying to do is like the things that I can control is like their mortgage. How can we help you pay off your mortgage? Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Yep. So have default responses, because there will be questions where you don't know the answer. Just have a default response. So you know what, great question. Let me make a quick note of that. When I have your disclosures ready, I'll actually have the answer for that. Very fast, very simple, and you're making a quick note on it. But you understand that's one of the concerns that they have. That's one of the buying reasons that they're going to decipher in order to make a decision to move forward with you. Get it? So that's actually a very, very good question.